Welcome to this session on Universal Healing, Awakening the Heart of Humanity. The heart of humanity is an ocean of infinite love and peace. It is now time for universal healing, awakening all to this one heart, aligning the different energies within, so that we may all be healed. Our intention is to awaken our higher consciousness so that we can connect to one another through the heart and be of authentic service to all of life, love in full expression. Just as we can open up to the same sky through windows of different shapes and colours, there are many pathways to awakening and healing. This unique 7 series of workshops encompasses healing traditions from different religions and cultures. Each daily session, lasting an hour, may include breathwork, chanting, meditation, artwork, and spiritual exercises. Our intention is to awaken our higher consciousness so that we may connect to the other through the heart and be of authentic service to God's magnificent creation. Join us during these 7 days at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. You can register at www.charterforcompassion.org.
Thank you so much for joining us today as we celebrate World Interfaith Harmony Week with the Charter for Compassion. And I'm here today. My name is Donna Mills, and I'm here as co-lead of the RISE sector, the Religion, Interfaith, and Spirituality on Earth sector of the Charter for Compassion. And I'm here with my cohort, Morgana, who's also co-lead here, and also Merida and Steve, who have we've all just created this beautiful organic circle this week, and it's been so beautiful and expansive and growth. And so Morgana, would you like to I'd like to let you know that I'm in North America, in the state of Idaho, in the Coeur d'Alene area of northern Idaho, and that's where I'm coming from today. And Morgana, would you like to share where you're from?
Yes, we always start with our sessions, our circles, with a land acknowledgement in recognition of all land, air, water, our human and non-human relations, and our sacred planet Earth. In honor, reverence, and gratitude, we come to you as kin, remembering the sacred relationship between us, remembering we are interdependent. In honor, reverence, and gratitude for all Indigenous peoples and ancestors who have stewarded this land before us, we pledge to live in reciprocity with this living land, devoted to harmony past, present, and future generations. In healing ourselves, we heal the world. I'd like you all to raise your hands. And what we're going to do, this is a bit strange online, but you'll get the idea. I'll go first and then Donna, and then you'll get the idea. We're now going to create our sacred space. Just for 2 seconds, just acknowledge the land yourself. Heart to heart, hand to hand, we open this circle. Donna?
Heart to heart, hand to hand, we open the circle. I pass it to you, Merida. Heart
to heart, hand to hand, I honor this circle and pass it to you, Steve.
Heart to heart and hand to hand, we open this circle. And I pass to you, Aurora.
Heart to heart, hand to hand, we open the circle. And I pass it to you, Brother Bill.
Heart to heart and hand to hand, we open this circle. I pass it to Betsy.
And Betsy, if you're unable to join us, I will stand in for your blessing. Betsy's heart to heart, Betsy's hand to our hands. We have created this circle. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Circle is open.
Until we are capable of anchoring our consciousness in the Brow Chakra, our mind oscillates constantly between the human chakras. All individuals travel along their own pathway, have their own history and their own experiences. Then at the end, all inevitably reach the same goal, the same truth and the same reality. However, until then, it is a long journey and often an enjoyable journey. Come today with us to end but begin a new journey. Spirituality is about connection and being aligned with Mother Earth and the universal energy that every tradition looks toward. Let's delve deeper into spirituality. During the last 6 days, we have moved through the 6 chakras, from the root chakra to the third eye, and today we will be rising to the crown chakra through the lens of the nature religions. Those spiritual paths like Hinduism that have their roots in ancient ancestral wisdom. Some of the old gods and goddesses have disappeared into the world of mythology, the legends and sagas of heroes and heroines. In some cases, however, the ancient ones live on in our collective memory and have been adopted, assimilated, and have become universal energies recognized the world over. Such a goddess or saint is Bridget, the Divine Mother, the Exalted One. And I'd like to share with you a presentation about this very, very special lady of the world, about Bridget. I've entitled my presentation In Harmony with Spiritual Traditions, Bridget and the Festival of Imbolc. Imbolc is an important festival in our pagan calendar, but it's also called St. Bridget's Day and is a Gaelic traditional festival. It's held on February the 1st, and as you probably noticed, this is exactly the first day of the World Interfaith Harmony Week, 1st of February. I would even say that Bridget could and should actually be the patroness of the World Interfaith Harmony Week. So let's work today to revive her and bring her into a greater consciousness. But let's look a little bit behind how she became known as the Exalted One and how her universal power can be seen not only in gods and goddesses and saints with the name Bridget, but people the world over will recognize her universal energy. But let's look at February the 1st. What's significant about the 1st of February? Certainly in the Northern Hemisphere and where I live in the Netherlands, this is actually midwinter. Although sometimes we also see it as being the beginning of spring or the promise of spring. The first flowers that we see here in the Netherlands and in Europe, in England and Germany, are the snowdrops. With the snowdrop, we see how even a very fragile flower blossoms as soon as there is enough light. She is historically, or the snowdrop is historically associated with Bridget, as you might expect. And in this sense, she's also seen as the triple goddess. Another word for Imolc is oimelc. Imolc means in the belly of the mother, but oimelc means ewes milk. And that's when at this time of the year, many herd animals are giving birth to their offspring. The frolicking lambs we see, but not yet. That's more like spring equinox, the next festival. But let's not rush things. First, we're still at Imolc. Bridget is known as a patroness of farm work and cattle and protector of the household from fire and calamity. To this day, one of her common names is also Foster Mother of Christ. And we see in this name how she has been adapted and adopted by the church. She was originally the daughter of Dubnach, a druid who brought her from Ireland to be raised on the Isle of Iona, sometimes called the Druid's Isle. But I'm jumping a little bit ahead of my story. Who is Bridget? Bridget, the daughter of the Dagda, one of the more universal deities of the pagan Celtic world. Bridget, meaning exalted one, is a goddess of pre-Christian Ireland. She appears in Irish mythology as a member of the Tuatha De Danann, the daughter of the Dagda and the wife of Bress, with whom she had a nun called Ruadin. Associated with wisdom, poetry, healing, protection, but also with the blacksmith. One of her symbols is the anvil, as she forges new life into those even inanimate objects. Remember, the sword of Michael, is also forged in fire. And here we see again how Bridget traverses many of the different planes, but very much to do with survival, with the house, and with birth and the passage of birth. She's also the one who is with us at the end of life. She's the midwife. And it's another reason why she was called Foster Mother of Christ. A midwife is also one who helps with the birth, but also helps with the lactation. Saint Bridget shares many of the goddess's attributes, and her feast day is also, as I said, the 1st of February. And commentators have long asserted that Saint Bridget is also based on the goddess Bridget. Many times, Christians and the establishment of churches have adopted pagan practices and pagan sacred sites, especially, no surprise here, especially those near wells and fountains and water. But Bridget is also associated with fire, and there is a legend that the fires of Bridget would be tended for 19 days. On the 20th day, it will be Bridget who tended the eternal flame. In 1993, a group of women decided to resurrect and to reintroduce this practice of the eternal flame. So every 19 days, a group of women still in Kildare guard the sacred fire and the sacred flame. As a triple goddess and the goddess of smithcraft, again, we just see how the fire is seen here, not only for the powers of melting, but giving light and the warmth that helps things and helps us to transform things. Once you've burnt something, you cannot reverse it. And we often say much of our magic is fire magic because we want to transform things. Water, by the way, doesn't always transform, because water can take on many different forms. And as Bridget also uses water sometimes for healing, but at 1st of February, she also has to contend with ice. So again, she knows the power of water, which can change its mode, but fire once you've lit something and burnt it, you cannot ever reverse that process. So one has to be absolutely sure, especially when we're doing healing, that we're absolutely sure of our intent, because once we do our magic, we cannot reverse it. And this is where St. Bridget also, as being the one who will always be true, but she is also the one who makes sure that those who come to her are also of pure mind. Because to ask Bridget for something for your own good, but not for the good of others, would be for her breaking your oath, breaking your promise. So the Daughters of Flame resurrected this idea in 1993. In a way, we can see here how Bridget brings groups of people together. She's there for the community, but she's also there for each and every one of us as individuals. Here we see her with the flame. Bridget, you are a woman of peace. You brought harmony where there was conflict. You brought light to the darkness. You brought hope to the downcast. May the mantle of your peace cover those who are troubled and anxious, and may peace be firmly rooted in our hearts and in our world. Inspire us to act justly and in reverence to God who has made all. Bridget, you are a voice for the wounded and for the weary. Strengthen what is weak within us. Calm us into a quietness that heals and listens. May we grow each day into a greater wholeness in mind, body, and spirit. Amen. This is from the Brigadine Sisters of Kildare. As I said earlier, one of the names of Bridget is Exalted One. And we see here how there is a synthesis between her as a saint and as the ancient goddess. Bridget, I seek you, Lady of the Well, the forge and the green earth. I seek you. Warm my heart with your perpetual flame. Heal my wounds with your gentle waters. Cradle me in your mantle when I can walk no more. Bridget, I seek you. Many of the Irish and many pagans and people of the earth see Bridget's cross as being an important symbol of this time of the year. The story of how Bridget's cross occurred is actually an interesting one, because it was when she was she was already assimilated into the church, into Christianity. But at one point, she was asked to go and help an old pagan chieftain who was dying and had great troubles about passing over. So Bridget went, and she saw how he was struggling to face death. And she knelt near to his bed, and there on the ground were the rushes. So to calm herself and to calm him, she started plaiting and interweaving the rushes and calmly guiding him to the other side. After this, when she, of course, the chieftain passed over, but she felt too that he'd also embraced the universal power of God, and he really did pass over in a much more peaceful way. So everybody, when she returned, she still had this plaited, these rushes, and people were just amazed because they thought this was a miracle. that she was able to help this old pagan chieftain. And they said, show us too how you work. How can you help us to help our community? And she then said, the cross has four, it's an equal armed cross. Use it in your homes as an amulet, a sign of protection. But remember the four seasons, from spring to summer, from autumn to winter. And when you celebrate again this time of year, burn the old Bridget's, well, she didn't call it Bridget's cross, burn the cross and make a new one for the new year. And indeed, many pagans use the Bridget's cross. And remember, again, the next, what we call the festivals which are connected to agriculture, which are actually called Imbolc, it's the 1st of February, Beltane, the 1st of February, 1st of May, sorry, and Lammas, which is 6 months ahead, which is the 1st of August, and of course the one that everybody will know very well, All Hallows Eve or Samhain, on the 31st of October, the 1st of November. I'd like to end this short presentation, but we can see here how the energy that Bridget, her calmness, her wisdom, her knowledge of those difficult times, but knowing that if you call and invoke her, she will come, and she will help you to pass through the most difficult moments. All she asks is that you bring this energy, this healing power into the community. Bride, Bridget, Lady of my night, Lady of my morn, rise ever and walk ever onward, blessing us with your grace. Blessed be.
Morgana, that was beautiful.
Thank you. I'm going to plead with you all. Let's save any questions till later, because I'd like now to hand over the baton, or the candle. Let's hand over the candle now. Oh, where's it gone to? To Donna.
Thank you. Yeah, that was beautiful. The history that you brought forth, Morgana, into this time period, I feel like a child in kindergarten again, in this completion of the circle, and especially at this time on Earth when we are shifting paradigms, narratives, languages out of this beautiful ancient time that we've spent the last 2,500 years or so and beyond, back bridges like way beyond the last 2,500 years. And I think the invitation today that Bridget brought for me is trust. And I consider trust a skill of well-being. And I consider trust a salve to a world of discontent right now. And may Bridget remind us of the cycles and the seasons of our own growing, and also of our own knowing. And isn't that what the crown chakra is about? Our own knowing. Not what we've learned, not the intellect that the world has taught into us and enculturated into us, but a knowing that comes from a place we can't describe. I can't tell you why I know what I know. I just must implore you to believe that I know what I know. That's trust. That's trust. And right now, the trust to know something different than we know right now is the salve that and the gift that we give to each other. So when we come to each other in a space of healing ourselves and healing the world, as we are able to return to a place of innocence, return to a place of innocence. And what I mean is, can we be bold and courageous enough to close the book on everything that we've known, like it's the second book in a trilogy, and put it on the shelf and say, wow, did anybody see 2020 in the last chapter of that book? Holy cow. Okay, we're going to open this new book, the third book in the trilogy. And how do you open the third book of a trilogy? With wonder and excitement. You've gone through the first book and the second book. And what will I know now? That is the return to innocence. What will I know now that I don't know then, or that I didn't know then? This is our spiritual connection, right? We're delving deeper into our connection with the cosmos. The seventh chakra is about our right to know, and our right to listen to something beyond the voices on this planet. We are spiritual beings. We're energetic beings. We're energy first before we are matter. We came out from the cosmos in through flesh to evolve our cosmic existence. In my belief, in my pagan belief, the whole point of landing on the planet, this beautiful planet, big blue ball, or marble, depending on what generation you're from. The point of landing there for me is to come and have these beautiful experiences so that I might evolve my consciousness. For me, in a biblical expression, this is the second coming of the Christ, this time on earth right now, the Christed notion of myself as consciousness. Christ, for me, is not a person, but a state of knowing. A state of knowing that Jesus knew. A state of knowing that many faith traditions, including pagans, know simply by doing what we did, opening our hands. And recognizing that we are beyond the physicality of what we see and hold. And that, again, is trust. And so as we begin to delve deeper into the chakra system and understand the esoteric and also very applicable nature of our chakras, we are unfolding each and every one of them. And today we are at the 1,000-petaled lotus, or somebody says 900 and some odd. We'll go for 1,000. Maybe we're at 900 and some odd, and the invitation is to keep going. To keep going, to open even further into what might we know. Consciousness and awareness, our belief systems. The seventh chakra for me is constantly evaluating in wonder my belief systems, not in shame, not in finger wagging. Oh, how could you ever believe that? Well, I believed it for as long as I believed it because that's what I had. Until I knew something different. And then instead of shame, I say, oh, look at how I grow myself up. Instead of saying, why didn't I know what I didn't know when I didn't know it? I say, oh, how blessed am I to know something I didn't know. And now I know it. And now I know it. So for me, the crown chakra is an ever open, warm, safe lap to crawl into, to learn and to know what I don't know. It's also collectively our universal identity, higher power, transcendence, immanence. Immanence. What a beautiful word, immanence. I give you for this next moment an invitation to sit with your crown open and resonate with the word immanence. Where can you sense it in your body? Do you feel your crown opening? Can you sense your own divinity through the word immanence? In that invitation is to know your oneness, your individuality within the 1,000-petaled lotus. You are one petal of that 1,000-petaled lotus. You're the whole lotus as well. Because from that knowing of oneself as immanent, we reach unity and the divinity of all of us. Not just the right to connect to our own godness, but to each other's godness. I had an experience that I'll invite you into, and it was a profound experience for me. I have many, many, many mirrors, gold mirrors around my house. Many of them. Every room has a gold mirror in it, and maybe 2 or 3. And someone says, Donna, what's up with the mirrors around your house? And I said, know thyself. Do not be afraid or even timid of your own image, because as you sit in front of that mirror and you stare into your eyes, can you not see the cosmos? Can you not see God looking back at you through your own image? That's the invitation I give to you today. Find a mirror at some point in your life and sit in front of it and look through your mother or your father's image. I sat there and I saw my mother's image and my grandmother's, and I saw lines around my face and little marks of this coloration or that coloration. And I continued to look, and I accepted my lineage. I accepted my ancestors. I accepted my place in my lineage, opening my crown. And then I accepted my space in the lineage of humanity and of the stars and of the cosmos, because I also belong there. Energy never ceases or dissipates, which means that I never cease or dissipate. I may shift and change forms. I may start as the bud and open as the full 1,000 lotus petal. And we all will. And so the courage of transformation and a true understanding of who we are in a cosmic sense happens when the tears fall out of your eyes sitting in front of that mirror, because you're there and you've seen your irreplaceable, exquisite, imperative place in the cosmos. And thank you. Thank you for knowing that, because as you pull your gaze away from yourself in that mirror and you turn it to your fellow human, you will not be able to not see God in their eyes, even if they don't see it themselves. Even if they do not see it themselves, you will be able to hold that for them. And that in itself, to me, is a course in miracles, a moment in miracles, to be able to hold each other from the crown chakra, knowing that no matter how they present to you in their wounds or their healing, in their love or their misunderstanding of it, that they too are in this evolution of consciousness. And might you hold that mirror for them, so that they might see it for themselves when their time comes. And so the purpose of moving through our chakras, beginning at the root and knowing matter, and moving from matter into movement, expanding, not just being matter, growing them like each of the petals, from the 2 at the bottom to the 1,000 at the top. Ever opening evolvement. We take our movement and transform that into our energy through the healing energy of love, speaking our truth, understanding deeper, and then bringing that understanding back down into each and every way. We bring that higher resonant vibration into our insight, and it becomes illuminating. Insight like the flashlight, illumination like turning the entire room on. Now I have a bigger picture. Now I have a deeper understanding. Now I can see your pain in a way where I'm not finger pointing or shaming you, but opening my hands and my heart and asking you, may I be of service, and in which way? When I bring my understanding and my knowing of my beingness into my throat, my creativity becomes inspired. I cannot speak in any other way but through spirit, in spiritation out of my throat, from spirit through my crown, clear knowing, and out into the world. When I bring my love from that place, it is compassion, expressed and expanded. My energy becomes transformative. My movement becomes connected to you, hand to hand, heart to heart. We are within the same circle. And in that space, matter becomes manifestation, and we are again whole and holy. Whole and holy. And when we have completed the circle of understanding, we have returned to innocence, and we can move from healed feelings, healed emotions, whole, kind, compassionate, Alan Watts says that enlightenment or awakening is not the creation of a new state of affairs, but the recognition, the recognition and making different what already is, which again is a return to our original innocence. I believe in us. I believe in us more than I believe in anything in the entire world. I believe in humanity. And this vision of our wholeness, our up the chakra, and the completion of coming back down is what I've held for humanity. And for one, I feel the beginning of global healing. For the first time in my life, I feel the beginning of global healing. And maybe when we look out into the world, it doesn't feel that way, or maybe it doesn't look that way. Maybe the invitation of the crown chakra is to look beyond what we see and know how we feel, because that's the way I know things are getting better. It's not what I see, it's what I feel. And so I say to all of us, might we remember our innocence and move from there. Amen. Aho. So it is.
So mote it be. I have prepared something, so I'm going to be switching my camera. Don't be alarmed. But what Donna and I are going to try and do now is to lead you into this world of Bridget healing. Bridget healing. I hope you've all got a glass of water. Just a plain glass of water is enough, because today we're also going to try to send some healing energy to all our human family and animals that are now suffering in Turkey, Syria, and all the countries surrounding that area of the Middle East. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a couple of things, and you can watch, because this is also part of our ritual practice. We never have experiments. The ritual is how it should be. We've already opened the circle, remember, heart to heart, hand to hand. We celebrate in this sacred space. In a place that is no place, in a time that is no time, we come together and we look at how the wheel turns, how the great circle of light at this time of the year, the light chasing away the shadows. Today we celebrate the festival of Imbolc and remember Bridget. Donna?
Let your eyes follow the light and the shadow cast around the bowl. At a given moment, enter the watery world. You can still breathe even though you are fully immersed. Feel how light it is to be in this water and how cleansing. Use the water to wash away any old pain. Imagine swimming like a fish in the crystal clear water. Explore this watery world. What can you see? What can you hear? What can you feel? At a given point, you can hear Bridget calling you. You see her through the water. You come up and see her clearly, standing at the edge of the pool. You come out of the water, greet her, and offer her a prayer.
Bridget, I seek you, Lady of the Well, of compassion and the green earth, I seek you. Warm my heart with your perpetual flame. Heal my wounds with your gentle waters. Cradle me in your mantle when I can walk no more. Bridget, I seek you.
Listen gently for her answer. When you are ready, thank her for her words and return to the circle through the water. Swim back. Look for the light of the candles floating. And as you return, gently bringing your eyes back to the screen with us.
I walk wrapped in your mantle, green as leaf on tree, newly blown on the wind. Hands still, I walk silent and serene in the knowledge that I walk alone, but am never lonely. Light is reaching out over the hill. I take your hand and walk into the dawn that lights the grass and never burns. Bridget, lady of my night, lady of my morn, rise ever and walk ever onward, blessing us with your grace. I would now like all of you to take your glass of clear crystal water. Place your hands around the glass as we pray to Bridget to send her healing energy to all those affected and afflicted by the terrible earthquake in the region of Syria and Turkey and beyond. May she give them her mantle of love, but also for those people who have lost their dear ones. Give them strength to come through this tragic episode in their lives. Bridget, we call you. Heal our wounds with your gentle waters. Cradle them and us in your mantle when they can walk no more. Bridget, Lady of the Wells, blessed be.
Amen.
And as is customary in our circles, we also think of those who are very close to us, but also ourselves. Often we forget that we too need healing. Quietly, or even if you would like to say something. Donna, would you like to voice a wish, your wish for the world?
I wish for the heart of every human on this planet to remember their exquisiteness.
Blessed be.
I share my message from Bridget with all of you. And she said to me, what was meant to be. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Please share if you have felt a blessing or a message from Bridget the way that Merida did.
As we said earlier on, we will be closing our circle now and stopping the recording, but there will be an opportunity for all of us to share our more intimate feelings. We know how often it's very difficult to express, and we certainly don't want people to feel that a recording will impede you. So Donna, I suggest now that we close our circle as we opened. One last blessing to all of you. Heart to heart, hand to hand, we close this circle. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Blessed be.